So you're looking for a dog trainer in Pembroke Pines? Well, you've come to the right place. We're going to walk through everything you need to know to find that perfect match for both you and your dog. All right, here's a quick look at what we're going to cover. We'll start with what it's like to have a dog right here in Pembroke Pines. Then we'll get into the details of finding a great trainer, what the different options and costs look like, the questions you absolutely have to ask, and finally, some local rules and resources you'll want to know about.
Okay, first up, let's talk about the local lifestyle. What does being a dog owner in Pembroke Pines really look like?
You know, life with a dog around here can be pretty diverse. One day you might be navigating the busy sidewalks at the shops at Pembroke Gardens, and the next you're enjoying a peaceful walk on the trails. A well-trained dog makes both of those scenarios possible and honestly a lot more enjoyable for everyone, even when you're just kicking back at home in a neighborhood like Silver Lakes. So where do you even start when you're looking for a professional? Well, it all begins with understanding their training philosophy and checking out their qualifications. The real foundation of modern, effective training today is something called positive reinforcement. It's basically a reward-based system that's humane and works incredibly well. You're teaching your dog what you want them to do, like sitting nicely when someone comes to the door, instead of just punishing them for doing the wrong thing. This approach builds a ton of trust and really sets them up to be successful no matter where you go. You've probably seen those strings of letters after a trainer's name and thought, what on earth does that mean? Well, they're not just for show. Credentials like CPDTKA or KPA-CTP are actually a pretty big deal. They show that a trainer has put in the work. They've gone through extensive education and passed some tough exams to prove they know their stuff. And this right here is so important. It really hits on what you want to stay away from. Good training should build your dog's confidence, not create fear. At the end of the day, a confident, happy dog makes for a much more peaceful home here in South Florida. All right, let's get practical. How is this training actually delivered and, what's it going to cost? You've basically got two main paths to choose from. Group classes are awesome if you want your dog to get better at listening with other dogs and people around, real-world distractions. But if you have a specific issue you're trying to fix, or you just want that super focused one-on-one attention, private lessons are probably your best bet. This chart gives you a pretty solid snapshot of the typical costs in our area. As you can see, there's a really wide range. You've got your group puppy classes on one end and the more intensive board and train programs on the other. This should help you figure out which option fits best with your budget and your training goals. Okay, knowing what to ask a potential trainer is huge. This is how you turn a simple phone call into a real evaluation to make sure you're finding the right person for the job. These are really the essential things to cover. You're trying to get a feel for how they operate. Definitely ask about their methods, if they're keeping up with their education, and most importantly, how they would tailor a plan specifically for your dog and your life here in Pembroke Pines. Now, let's tie all of this training back to our own community. What are the specific rules and what are some of the great places to go right here in Pembroke Pines? This number is one you'll want to commit to memory: 6 feet. That's the maximum length for your leash in both Pembroke Pines and all of Broward County anytime you're not on your own property. It's why having good leash manners is absolutely a must-have. And it's not just about leashes. Being a good dog-owning neighbor here means knowing these county rules. Good training helps with all of this, from getting your dog comfortable wearing their tags to managing that non-stop barking that could become an issue. And here's the fun part: putting those skills to the test. The dog park over a Fletcher Park is a fantastic place to work on recall with some distractions. And if you're up for more of a challenge, the Chapel Trail Nature Preserve is perfect for practicing those leash skills with all the sights and smells that nature has to offer. Because when you get right down to it, that's what this is all about. All the work, all the training, it's about building a better, happier life together. We wish you the very best in your search. Finding the right training partner is such a big step. Having a well-behaved companion just makes everything better, whether it's a quiet night at home, having people over, or just taking a walk around your neighborhood. It makes every single day so much more rewarding.